Good morning, everybody. We are checking out what's going on, the latest in the tropics. Of course, the Gulf of Mexico. We're going to be watching there over the next couple of days as we're waiting for what could be Tropical Storm Hanna by it looks like tomorrow to move in towards the Texas coast. Right now, it looks like it's going to be well south of southeast Texas here. It's going to be down more towards, say, Corpus Christi or maybe just north of Corpus Christi as we head into looks like Saturday morning at this point. That looks like it's kind of the direction it's going to be heading. All right, here it is on satellite this morning. And what we're looking at is basically this big cluster of, looks like red clouds there in the middle of your screen. That's what we call convection or showers and thunderstorms around the center of the storm. It's getting a little bit better organized, but still nothing that you would say is a very organized system. It's still just trying to get its act together out there in the Gulf of Mexico. But there is some rotation around the storm as we take a look at the showers on radar, especially as you look over towards Alabama, Mississippi, over towards New Orleans. You can see that things are kind of going in a, you would say, a counterclockwise rotation. You can see kind of around the storm, everything's kind of going from the east to west, that rotation of the rain showers around the center of the storm. So it's trying to get its act together out there in the Gulf of Mexico. Nice thing is we don't have any rain right now on radar here in southeast Texas, and we're not going to see too much today, so that's great because that allows us to dry out some before we start to see some of this heavy rain come in as we head into looks like tomorrow, and then especially late Friday night into Saturday as the storm system itself starts to move in towards, it looks like, central Texas. All right, let's take a look at a couple of the computer models. First off, we'll take a look at the GFS model. Now, this is just one run of the computer models. Let me pull that back up here real quick. This is not consensus. This is just one computer model. This is the American model, and it has it kind of sliding up towards the northwestern Gulf and then sliding just to the south of Houston as we go into Saturday early morning, 3:20 a.m. It shows it's on the coast. I kind of go back and forth here with the graphic, and you can kind of see it sliding south of Houston early on Friday morning and then making its way out into south central Texas there. All right, we'll switch over to the what we call the European model, or the one that's developed over in Europe. That's why they call it the European model. Notice it shows a little bit stronger system, tropical storm, and it really takes it south of Houston. Matter of fact, it takes it right into, looks like almost Padre. It looks like it's almost south of Corpus Christi there as we head towards, once again, early morning hours on Saturday, and then takes it on into Mexico as we head into Sunday. So the European model, which is usually a little bit more reliable, showing a tropical storm sliding into Corpus Christi or just south of there sometime on Sunday. Both of these showing that the storm system well to our south, so that means that generally we won't see the winds that they're going to see down there. They're expecting to see winds maybe about 50 miles per hour, while we won't see anything like that up here in southeast Texas. We're just too far to the north. Now here's a consensus of the models. This is a bunch of different models, and you can see for sure all these models are well south of Houston and down there towards the central Texas coast. You can see those right in here. So consensus of everything showing that it's going to be well south of us. So that's good news. We don't have to deal with the winds with this thing. Problem is we're still going to be on the north and northeastern side of the storm, so we're still going to see that flow of showers around the center part of the storm. Like I already showed you here, we'll go back to satellite and radar for just this afternoon. We're going to be caught up in that flow around the storm, and these showers coming around the north and northeastern side of this thing is what we got to watch out for. And if we get a good stream of those coming in, that's when we can send up some training where we see one band of rain move right over another area, and that's where we can get into some problems as far as maybe some flash flooding or quick flooding. Hopefully we won't see that kind of a setup, but it's kind of typical in this type of storm system, especially when you're kind of on the east and northeast side of it. So something we're going to really be watching for as we head into, looks like Friday night into Saturday, if things start to add up a little bit with the rainfall. All right, now I'm going to show you the official track from the National Hurricane Center. They sent this out at 10 o'clock. Right now, winds are at 35 miles per hour, so it's up about 5 miles per hour since 7 o'clock this morning, and it's still moving to the west-northwest at about 9 miles per hour. Notice the pink right along the coast here. That is a tropical storm watch, and that goes through Saturday. It does not include southeast Texas, but real close. It's at High Island southward. Basically, they just use High Island as kind of a starting point to the north. And then basically most of the Texas coast is under a tropical storm watch. It does not include us, though. As we look at the track on tropical depression number 8, takes it over into parts of the northwestern Gulf on Friday. By tomorrow morning, they're expected to be Tropical Storm Hanna. By Friday evening, still off the coast, winds at 45 miles per hour. And then by Saturday morning, this shows at about 7 a.m. right on the coast between Corpus Christi, Port Lavaca, maybe a little bit closer to Corpus Christi, with winds at 50 miles an hour sustained. So you notice we're still way away from the cone of uncertainty. We're not going to be in those winds. The winds won't be extending out that far to really reach southeast Texas, but we will be on the north side, northeastern side of this thing, where we will be catching some rain, and that's what we're going to be looking for as we go into Friday and Saturday. Right now, looks like maybe anywhere from maybe 3 to 6 inches of rain across southeast Texas. And now that's not in an afternoon. That's over a couple of days period. We can handle 3 to 6 inches of rain if it comes in a couple of days time. If we get one of these training situations sets up and we can pick up a quick 3 or 4 inches, well, then we're going to run into some localized flooding, some flash flooding, because no drainage system can handle that much rain in a short amount of time. And you could see something like that with one of these systems. So that's what we're going to be looking out for. And hopefully we won't see as we head into Friday night and Saturday. So we're kind of keeping our eye on things. And I know folks are very sensitive to flooding around here. We've had too many flood events. And I have friends, lots of friends that are, you know, anytime they hear anything about a storm, and I'm sure a lot of you folks out there are, boy, gosh, I don't need another one. I just got my house back up and going from the last one, so I don't need another one. And so we're hoping this is far enough to the south that we catch some rain from it. Like I said, 3 to 6 inches over 2-3 days, we can do that. Hopefully that will be the case. Now, there could be a couple of spots where we get more than that, but once again, if that's over a couple of days period, it might not be that bad. Okay, let's take a look as we head into Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. You notice the storm continues to move off towards the west, not going to stick around, not going to be stuck over Texas, and it's going to diminish in speed by Sunday. It won't even be a tropical storm anymore, and then by Tuesday, we're looking at just an area of low pressure out over Mexico. So good news there. Once again, it's going to pass through and keep on going. It's not going to stick around the coast. So a lot of folks, every time you see a storm, you immediately think back to Harvey, and I understand that, where it stuck around for days and days, and yeah, we don't need that in a situation, and that's not going to happen here at all. All right, what are the impacts here in southeast Texas? Well, let's go through those. I already talked about it, but wind. We won't really deal with wind. We might see a wind gust up to 20 miles per hour, worst case 25, which, you know, we see that on a typical day with a passing shower or thunderstorm, so that's not a big deal. Rainfall, this is what we're going to be looking at. 3 to 6 inches of rainfall over a couple of days. Could be heavy at times, so we're going to be watching that closely. Worst case scenario, that we get one of those banding or training situations coming up with one of those bands, and we pick up 5 or 6 inches of rain in a day. That's where we're going to run into some localized flooding. At this point, we're not really looking at widespread flooding. If we see something like this, it's going to be over a small area, and it's going to be maybe like a neighborhood or area where the streets are going to be seeing some side roads flooding out or something like that, if that occurs. But right now, we're expecting scattered rain from 3 to 6 inches over a couple of days period. So that's something, once again, that's going to be the main calling card with this system for us here in southeast Texas. As far as coastal flooding, we should be okay. Seas will be running maybe 1 to 2 feet above normal, and you might see some water up close to the road there along the beach. But it shouldn't be a big deal. Worst case scenario, that it gets a little bit higher than that, but right now it looks like just maybe 1 to 2 feet right along the coast. So that's what we're looking at with probably going to be Tropical Storm Hanna as we head into tomorrow and into Saturday. So that's kind of what we're expecting right now across southeast Texas. So not the worst case scenario at all. Of course, we don't want to see any rain. We've had enough, but looks like we are going to get some rain from this storm, and we're going to have to deal with that. Now, take you farther out in the tropics, of course, this is Gonzalo. Gonzalo, still a tropical storm. Winds are at 65 miles an hour as of 10 o'clock this morning, moving to the west at 14. This one expected to be a hurricane maybe by later on today, maybe even into tonight. And then as a hurricane, head into the Caribbean. But by the time it gets into the central Caribbean, it's going to encounter some unfavorable conditions there, and expecting to start to dwindle down by Tuesday. They're looking at maybe just a tropical storm in the central Caribbean there south of Jamaica. So we'll have to wait and see. One of the things the Hurricane Center will tell you is they're not the best at predicting intensity with these storms. They have a great idea where it's going. They do really good on the track. It's the intensity that's hard to forecast, and every day they're working on trying to get better at that, but it's hard to forecast. So right now, let's hope it continues that trend it shows on the track, that it does weaken as it gets into the Caribbean. Some of the computer models still kind of getting rid of this whole storm, while others try to track it up into the Gulf of Mexico. Way too early to tell what we're looking at as far as Gonzalo and how will it affect the Gulf, if it affects the Gulf at all. But just keeping an eye on it right now. We're watching it. It's still several days out, like I said, even by Tuesday of next week. So it's still going to be in the Caribbean. So a long way to watch this thing and see what's going to be happening with Gonzalo. Want to show you the 7-day forecast. 7-day forecast showing good chance of rain Friday and Saturday. I probably should just put 100% because I think everybody's going to see some rain Friday, Saturday. And even Sunday looks like a high rain chance, at least 70–80% there. So just be prepared for a very wet weekend. If you live in a flood-prone area, I would keep an eye on those locations just over the weekend. Once again, we're not expecting widespread flooding, but there could be some banding setting up that could maybe cause some locally heavy rainfall, maybe so quick 3 or 4 inches maybe in a couple hours period if that sets up, and that could cause some problems. So we're kind of keeping our eye on that kind of situation and hoping that that doesn't really happen, that we'll see more of the way of just some steady moderate rains or some scattered heavy showers kind of work over the area. We're going to have to wait and see how the storm develops as it moves closer and gets on shore. So we'll be waiting for that. And unfortunately, the rain does not let up. 70% chance of rain on Monday, 60% on Tuesday, down to 50% on Wednesday of next week. Only good news out of that is it keeps our temperatures below 90 degrees. That's about it. We'll have to deal with rain every day. So just going to have to keep vigilant and hope for things to start to dry out eventually. But right now, it looks like a very wet forecast as we go through the next 7 days. One thing you might want to do this evening, if you're getting off work or if you can later on today, is get out and cut the grass, because it looks like at this point you might not be able to get it done again until maybe late next week. So that might be a tip for you there as we go into later on today. All right, once again, I want to go back to Tropical Depression number 8, which is probably going to become Tropical Storm Hanna, and give you that track one more time just so you can see. Right now, it's got winds at 35. They're expected to be up to 40 by tomorrow morning, 45 by tomorrow night, and then around 50 as it heads towards, so it looks like close to Corpus Christi at 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. Now, of course, this track could change a little bit as we go through the next day or so. Could speed it up, could slow it down, or could even increase the strength. Earlier this morning, they didn't have winds over 45, and now they've increased it to 50, so something we're watching for. Once again, we're too far south for any of those winds, but we are going to see the rain wrapping around this system as it continues to push towards the west over the next few days. So we're going to be watching closely for that. And let me go back to satellite and radar real quick here. And once again, that's what we're watching for, is the rain wrapping around this thing, as you can see over here, over the parts of southern Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. That's what they're seeing already, this rain starting to wrap around the center of the storm. All this will be sliding off towards us, heading our direction as that storm moves off towards the west. So we're hoping that most of this rain won't be too heavy as it kind of scatters across the area, and we won't see any of that training set up across southeast Texas. All right, well, I just wanted to go over all the tropical stuff with you, let you know what we're looking at right now, what we're kind of expecting as we head into Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. Looks like it's going to be a wet day, so make sure you have indoor plans for this weekend. I'm sure Patrick will be doing another live update as we get into this afternoon or this evening, giving you the latest deal on what's going on. And of course, tomorrow morning, probably be back with you again around 10:30 and give you the latest what's going on. I expect the radar to start to be active as we get into tomorrow morning, and then really start to pick up as we go into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. I want to show you something really nice though right now. Look at that, nothing on radar. So enjoy it today. Like I said, if you got to get out and cut the grass, you might want to do that. There is nothing on radar, which is great news. It's given us a chance to really dry out today a little bit before some of that heavier rain comes into the area as we head into Friday and then into Saturday. Just partly cloudy skies out there. Here's the view from over towards Lake Charles, and I think we're seeing even a little less cloud cover than that here over southeast Texas. So hot out there. Temperatures already starting to climb up towards getting close to about 90 today, and we'll get up into the lower 90s, but only about a 20-30% chance of a couple of showers for today, and that's going to be late in the afternoon into the evening. We're just waiting for this storm system to kind of get its act together and see what it does over the next couple of days. So we'll keep you updated. We're staying on top of it. Stay on top of your social media, and of course we'll be on every morning and evening keeping you updated on what's going on. There we go over towards East Texas Freeway, just partly cloudy skies, looking pretty nice for today. Be ready for a lot of wet weather coming in this weekend. Y'all have a good day.